And right about the time I think I have my top 5, top 10 paddles of the year picked out, another paddle or paddle series comes in and stirs things up. And that's basically what these chorus fires do. They hit hard, they're very poppy, and in my experience, they make people want to play very aggressive. And to top that off, they look like this. These paddles are going to be listed at $170, and you can use this channel's PBMed discount code to take 10% off of that. As slick and unique as these paddles are, they're definitely not for everybody, so I'll go over the need-to-know specs and stats, talk about the pros of these paddles, and then I'll talk through who I think are not likely to like these. You may have already noticed the shiny exterior of these paddles, which is made up of a carbon polyester blend and has a thin layer of fiberglass molded to the surface. Each of these 3 shapes are 14 millimeters thick, and they have a wide sail core. The 3 shapes in this series consist of the EX, which is the elongated version, the HX, which is the hybrid version, and the SX, which is the standard shape version. In terms of pros, 1, these paddles all hit very hard. I recently upgraded to the Stalker Pro 3S, so I feel pretty good about reporting these measurements, and the EX in particular had an average drive speed at 59.7 miles per hour. At this point, that's one of the highest recorded drive speeds that I've ever seen, and that's coming from a non-Gen 3 paddle, which does not carry quite the same risk of breaking down that those do. Secondly, I'll put the numbers on the screen here, but each of the 3 paddles in this series all recorded RPMs well over 2,000 and spun very well in gameplay. You'll notice that all 3 of these paddles have a gross weight that comes under 8 ounces. You'll also notice that if looking at their maneuverability score, you'll see that all 3 of these paddles stay under the 50th percentile, and the SX in particular has a very maneuverable score. While that might not jump right out to you, I'll say that usually paddles that hit this hard are either 1, paddles that are much less maneuverable than this, or 2, some sort of Gen 3 constructed paddle that carries much more risk of breaking. And then another pro of how they feel, when I was thinking about their sweet spot size and what I would compare it to, honestly, I forgot that these were 14 millimeters thick and not 16 millimeters, which just kind of goes to show you how good it is for their given thickness. They're not ginormous sweet spots by any means, but per 14 millimeter power paddles, they're pretty good. In terms of cons or people who might not like these, first off, if you're a person who likes plush feeling paddles, these for sure are not that. These are on the more stiff side, and the feel off the face is quite brisk, leading to a pretty pronounced pop, which leads to my second group of people that may not like this, which are people who have a hard time with control. They aren't too out of control by any means, but they're definitely no Mach 2 Forza or Pulse V, so if you're the kind of player that likes those type of paddles and you're not ready to step up and pop, then you may not like these paddles as well. And then in terms of some overall big picture, how they feel and how they played, it's hard to describe, but when you pick up these paddles, they just feel solid in your hand. Like, they just feel like they're made of good construction. As I mentioned before, they definitely made me want to play more aggressive because the pop was so nice and the power was so high. I just wanted to hit everything hard. Because the face is a little bit more stiff and the pop is more sudden, if you're used to a paddle that holds onto the ball a little bit more, you'll have to aim up with these paddles because the launch angle coming off the face is a little bit more sudden, a little bit more high than some of those other paddles have. My favorite of this series was the EX, which is the elongated version. I just really liked maximizing that power and the leverage that I got from that added length. But if you've been following these paddles on Discord, you'll see that the reviewer favorites is pretty evenly distributed amongst these given shapes. So in summary, if you're a person who wants consistency, wants a good power paddle, and likes a crisp pop with good spin off the face, these are probably going to be paddles you'll enjoy. But if you want control paddles, or you don't like a stiff feel and you're bothered by a little vibration, these paddles are not going to be paddles you're going to like. And that's my take on the new Chorus Fire paddles. I hope you enjoyed the more brief, to the point review this time. Like always, if you've played with these paddles or if you have any questions, feel free to drop those in the comments below. Thank you everybody for watching. If you haven't subscribed already, feel free to do so, and I'll catch you here for the next one.